Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Chicago Lawyer Magazine's Inside Out, where we examine different aspects of the law with our unique husband and wife team. David Sussler, he has the inside view, and that's because he is the Associate General Counsel at National Material LP. The outside perspective comes from Tina Martini, a partner at DLA Piper here in Chicago. I'm your host, Andy Shaw, President and CEO of the Better Government Association, and the topic this month is making your mark. Now, for lawyers, you're probably thinking maker's mark, but that's for after the taping. Now we're actually going to talk about making your mark. So let me start with the most banal of questions, which is, let's define what we even mean here by making your mark. I guess it's not taking a piece of chalk and writing it on a blackboard. So what does it mean? Is it a legacy? Is it just being significant? What would you say?
I think it can mean all those things. I think it's leaving a legacy, which to me means making a positive difference. I mean, obviously people can have negative legacies, and I think the assumption during our conversations today is that we're not going to really focus on the bad things that people do to leave a legacy, but I would say it's leaving an indelible impression on the profession, on those in it, on your clients, on the organization or institutions with whom you work during the course of your career. I think it's, one of those things where when people hear your name or you come up in a conversation, that it becomes pretty obvious pretty quickly that you've made an impression.
And what would you say, David?
I know I'm not supposed to say ditto. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's making an impression on someone in a large or small way, so that they remember you in some way. You make a difference for someone in some way.
And why is that important if it is? I mean, isn't it really just important to do your job well? And if people remember you for a day or a week or a year, it's really the same? Or does it matter to have a longer term memory span for the things you've done in people's minds?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a relative question. You make your mark by leaving an impression for a day, a week, a year, your life. I think most people who become lawyers do so initially because they want to make a difference for somebody. And if you help your client through whatever their issue is, and do so in a professional way, hopefully you leave them satisfied. You've left a mark, and that if you do it that way, if you do it honestly, ethically, do your best on behalf of your client, you're going to have greater career success as an individual, I think. And there's another reason too, that making your mark, doing the best you can, you create a reputation. And let's face it, while we want to help people, we're also in business to make a living, and it's a great way to help get business.
I mean, I would say also, that's a really good answer. I would say that lawyers are like doctors. I mean, we are the two professions where you need a license in order to practice. And I think that there's a heightened level of expectation by society of people like doctors and lawyers in terms of our ability to help people, particularly those people who are not equipped to help themselves. And I think when you are talking about that type of impact that you can make on somebody, whether it's saving their business, saving their life, which really, when you think about it, that is the spectrum of the different types of cases and matters that people can handle in the legal profession. I think it's inevitable that you're going to have a conversation about leaving a legacy or making your mark, just because of the profound impact that this profession has on people.
Well, how do you do that? I'm thinking, you can't decide that you're going to be in the middle of Marbury versus Madison or Brown versus Board of Education or Plessy Ferguson. I mean, those things sort of happen, and they stay with they become historical precedents that live for centuries. But day to day, do you consciously figure out things to do that will be part of a legacy, or is that counterproductive to being a good worker day by day?
No, I think you can leave a legacy just by doing it day to day and kind of maybe stumble into it by accident, but you can consciously strive to leave your mark in a certain way by doing certain things. Volunteer at a pro bono agency, found a pro bono agency. You can choose for example, to be a plaintiff civil rights lawyer and represent a certain group of people and become known for that.
Which is what your sister does.
Which is what my sister does. You can be a mentor to an aspiring young attorney or young person and leave a mark on them. You can do that for many. And those are really very intentional things that you may not be setting out to I want to leave a legacy so I can imprint this on my tombstone. But I want to make a difference. I want to leave the world a better place than I entered
It
it.
sounds like what you're saying is a good long, when we all go on to the great beyond, it would be better to have a large body of significant things we've done across the board than perhaps just one case
Right.
that you're remembered for and nothing else.
It's not intentionally seeking glory for most people.
Yeah.
I think it's intentionally seeking to make a difference.
Tina, would you, anything more than that?
I would agree with that. I think that oftentimes, I would bet that if we would talk to people, like if we took like 20 people who we think have made their mark on the legal profession, my guess is that the vast majority of those people, when we look back on what is the legacy that they left, my guess would be that they did not know at the time that they were creating the legacy that they were actually doing it. My guess is that they all had in common several things, including caring very much about what they were working on, having a passion for it, and having a passion for doing the right thing, whatever that right thing was. My guess is that those would be the common themes with those people. But I don't think that you necessarily intentionally go out to make your mark or create a legacy. I think the most special legacies that are left are the ones that you're talking about, people who left them that are so humble that frankly what they were doing, what they probably would say is they did what had to be done.
With the exception of Johnny Cochran defending OJ, which was a conscious decision in a high visibility, high publicity way to make a mark, for better or
Right.
worse. But that's not a full legacy. That's one case.
Right.
A life ought to be a lot more than that, and I presume his was. But there are people known for that one thing, and we'll wait and see what the one thing is that you guys are left known for and be. Okay, making your mark. That has been our topic on this segment of Inside Out, Chicago Lawyer Magazine's Inside Out, with David Sussler and Tina Martini, our guests. I'm your host, Andy Shaw. Thanks for joining. We'll have another topic next month, so tune back in.